Namaskar, welcome. My name is Acharya Satyamitra'nanda Avadhu'ta, and I have been a monk and Acharya here at Ananda Marga for over 20 years. And I was thinking today to share with you how it started with me, why did I get attracted to this kind of life and what attracted me to this path, because it's not common for a Westerner, one coming from a Western society to choose the life of a monk or and dedicate one's life for meditation and service and these things. So it started long time ago. I must have been in my late 20s, and I had a very good job. I was living in Denmark those days. I had a very interesting job. I worked in a very creative job in the media, in the TV production, and I loved my job very much. And I wasn't really looking for anything. I wasn't looking for any kind of new life or any spiritual life, at least not consciously. But I had, since I was a young boy, I had this desire to go to India. There was something that attracted me towards India, and I never understood why. But it was there in my mind, and it just got stronger and stronger. And finally I decided to go to India. I went there and I did not really know what to do, so I went to visit a few ashrams, and there were some gurus. I went out to the South India. I met some famous guru there. I stayed in his ashram, and that was all okay, but it did not really speak to me. It did not really catch my interest. Then later on I went up to the north to the city of Benares, to Varanasi, and that's where something magic happened. Immediately when I came there, I really felt I know this place. For the first time in my life I felt that I have been here before, and I couldn't explain why I had that feeling. It was just very strong. And every day I would just sit down by the river, by Ganges, and I would just sit there and enjoy the vibration. It was very special vibration. I could feel it physically in my body, started to vibrate, and my mind started to vibrate and get very high. And I wasn't doing any meditation at that time. And every day I sat there by Ganges. There was a young sadhu, a young monk. He was sitting there. He was a teenager only. And every day he was there, and every day I was there, so we started to talk. And we became very good friends. And he was traveling around in India, and he invited me along, and we went out traveling together. And I saw when he was doing meditation, he every day he would meditate several times. And I saw I studied him when he meditated, I saw he got lost. Suddenly he was like in another world, and that fascinated me. I got very intrigued by it, and I wanted to learn. So he taught me meditation, and was very common meditation. He gave me a mantra, and he told me just to sit down, and he said, "You think about Shiva," he said. And I did not know what Shiva was. I have seen some pictures of Shiva, and he had blue face and looked like a cartoon person. So I could not really relate to that. But I thought in my mind that Shiva must represent the Supreme Consciousness. So I thought, okay, I'll sit down and I will think about Shiva in my way. And I did. And my mind got very concentrated, and I used the mantra, and mind got very, very concentrated. And within short time, my mind just expanded tremendously, and I just felt this oneness with everything. I just felt completely one with the whole universe. And never I heard about such a thing, never I thought such a thing existed. But of course it changed me tremendously. It was a real experience, and to feel that oneness and to feel that state of, I would say, love, where you just feel the love of the whole universe, it was so touching and so mind-changing that I could never become the same again. Everything changed. The way I saw the world, the way I thought I should live my life, and so on. And after that, I got so inspired that I just wanted to meditate every day. Every day I felt like I should do meditation. And I started to do from that time. I thought I'd just stay back in India and become a monk like him, become a sadhu like him, but I got bored after some time because it was just roaming around and not doing anything. So I felt it felt kind of meaningless. And I decided to go back to Denmark, and I went back to Denmark where I lived those days, and I continued to meditate. But every time I meditated, I felt this kind of, the nerves in my chest just got so agitated that I couldn't concentrate anymore. It was like unbearable feeling in the chest every time I meditated, and I couldn't understand why it was like that. But let's rewind back a little bit, because when I left India, I had a flight from Mumbai, and I remember I was sitting in the airport in Mumbai, and I was so inspired by everything I had seen and learned in India. I was just boiling, my mind was so full of inspiration. And I just walked around in the airport looking for a place to sit down, because there were a few hours until my flight. But it was packed with people, so there was nowhere to sit down. So I decided just to walk around, and suddenly one person stood up and offered a seat to me. Oh, I was very touched, so I sat down, and I was sitting next to a gentleman who looked he had long beard, he looked very gentle, he had very good manners, he was very pleasant personality, very friendly and very loving. And he immediately started to ask some questions, what I had been doing in India. And I was talking about my experience, and I was just talking, and suddenly I felt a bit shy because I was talking so much, and I decided to ask him what he was doing. And he explained that, oh, I'm a meditation teacher, I am Dada such and such, I'm an Acharya, a meditation teacher. And then he started to talk about new things about meditation that I had not heard from anyone else. And he was an Acharya from Ananda Marga, and he spoke many things about meditation, about Tantra, about social service, about the importance of for a sadhaka, a spiritual person, to do service and help others, not just think about myself, think about ourselves, but to think about the welfare of others. And I thought, oh, that's special. That gives a completely other dimension to meditation. I understood meditation in Ananda Marga, or the practices in Ananda Marga, is not just about oneself, because that's the impression I got from others when I was touring around in India. But I understood that there is much more to it. It is service. It is not just serving human beings, taking care of the nature, thinking of the welfare of the animals, thinking of the welfare of the plants, of the whole planet. And these were in the 1990s, and this was before global warming and all these things. And so this was really revolutionary ideas. even today it still is. And that really touched me, these ideas that he presented to me. So when I came back to Denmark and I tried to meditate and I could not meditate, I was thinking about him and the advices he had given me. And I wanted to learn more. So I looked for Ananda Marga there in Denmark, and I got contact, found Ananda Marga. And as soon as I learned meditation there, everything changed. That pressure in the chest completely disappeared immediately when I started to practice the new style of meditation. I understood, and when I started to practice some asanas, because I understood that feeling I had in the chest when I meditated was because of weaknesses in my nervous system. So when the mind elevates during meditation, there comes a pressure on the nervous system, and that's why it was important to practice specific asanas, which I did, and the problem was completely solved. So this was just short story, small story about myself and how my journey started, but just as a reminder to everyone that meditation, or we can say sadhana, the practices, spiritual practices that we need to do for success in our spiritual life, is such a service, and think about the welfare of all beings, and not just all beings, about the whole planet, and maybe soon to come about the whole universe. So thank you very much, and have a wonderful day. And remember, meditation should be done twice a day. Thank you very much. Namaskar.